So let's use AI to get some real business done. I decided to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and also because I've been requested this to apply what I write about in my book in real life examples, which unfortunately, I can't do within the book, but I thought I could show you here on this channel and it will make it more interesting. And I decided to use this chapter for now, marketing and business development materials. I've been asked to do this for translation, which is my area of expertise, but I thought that would be a bit too esoteric for those of you who aren't translators, and I wanted to do something that could apply to everyone. I was also asked to do this for job searches. Unfortunately, I'm not looking for jobs, and I wanted to do something that I could actually apply myself. And so I wanted to show you how this can really be used. So I'm going to do this, but I might switch around and try other sections of the book as well to see and show how they can be applied. So we're going to take this chapter, Marketing and Business Development Materials, and I'm going to use Perplexity. That's the one I usually use, and I wanted to show something a bit different. Most people will always use ChatGPT. You can kind of it's the same thing. And if you want, I can do it again with ChatGPT. That's fine. So let me go through this properly. So marketing and development materials. In the book here, it says for business development materials like brochures, one-pagers, or pitch decks, you can feed AI key information about your services, unique differentiators, and target audience. Ask it to create engaging headlines, bullet points, and narrative copy designed to capture attention and prompt action. I'm only going to do this part for now, and I'm not going to do the other steps. And the reason for this, I mentioned this elsewhere in the book, is I want to take it a step at a time. I usually have everything in bullet points, and in fact, I separate it kind of using coding basically so that the AI doesn't get confused, so to speak, with too many instructions. But another simple way to do it is to just do it step by step. So that's what we're going to do here. I just want to keep it simple. So we're just going to tackle this first paragraph at the beginning without the visual elements or data, and we're just going to do that. So let's do that. So for the first step, I like to do deep research. Then I'll probably just do the normal one for any tweaks and enhancements. Deep research just means that it searches the web more. ChatGPT has the same thing. In fact, ChatGPT has thinking and deep research. Just very briefly, again, the difference is deep research searches the web and finds a bunch of different sources for what you might need. So if you want to do market research or stuff like that, it's great. Thinking just means it takes more steps. So I like applying this to translation where I'll do a draft translation of something and then I'll have it check its own translation based on a glossary I upload or an online dictionary or whatever sources, and then it comes up with a finalized translation. So it just takes more steps. So you can apply those here. Here I'm just going to do the deep research for Perplexity, and let's do this. So here we go. I wrote, my business is Lugano Translations, luganotranslations.com, and I didn't describe much else because I'm hoping it can get what information it needs from this website. And luckily I already have that, so no need to reinvent the wheel here. Then background, our main clients are, and I list the main clients that we have. Goals, we are currently targeting clients in electronics and related technology sectors. And then I ask it to create the text for a one-page brochure with, and I basically just copied it from here, engaging headlines, bullet points, and narrative copy designed to capture attention and prompt action. Engaging headlines, bullet points about benefits we offer, narrative copy designed to capture attention and prompt action. Now you'll notice even here I put bullet points. I try to separate it in a very coherent and logical manner, and I just find this helps. And so that's why I prefer to do this rather than paragraphs that a lot of people do, which can end up being quite messy. And at least here I can see exactly what it answered, what it didn't, et cetera, et cetera. So here, as I mentioned, I click deep research, and so let's do it. And here we go. I can already tell it's a bit long, but let's see what it says. Unlock global success in the electronics industry, professional translation services that drive revenue and compliance. Expand your electronic business across borders with confidence. The global electronics manufacturing services projected to reach blah, blah, blah. Now, all these numbers, I'm going to have to check them. I see it listed some sources here, and so I'm going to check them, as I said you should always do. And again, I mentioned this like 3 different times in the book, but I'll mention it again here. Always view AI as that eager intern who really wants to please you, but is going to make mistakes. And so they'll give you a lot of information and make it look all nice, and that's great. But you need to double check. Remember, always treat AI like you're the boss and it's the intern, because the moment you find yourself treating AI like it's the boss, you're going to have a lot of problems. So AI is not at the level now where you can just trust everything it does for anything. You have to review every single thing it does. Anyway, why electronics companies choose Lugano translations, fast time to market. And so here we see some compelling things, and I like that. Our electronics industry specializations, technical documentation excellence. Here too, I'll have to review to make sure we can actually offer all that. And here it says your electronics business faces these critical challenges. Again, I check the sources, and I want to check the sources for each and every one of these. Then it has our advantages, et cetera, et cetera. And then you go. So here it gives me all the information. Now I do want to tweak this a little bit. So let's do that. So the first tweaks I'm going to do is kind of go through this. It says to remember to specify your target customer in the end whether it's to specify if your target customer is the end consumer or a business. It is a business. I don't think I need to specify that anymore because I also said who my target market is specifically. And these are too many sections already. So I'm going to tell it to shorten it, and then we'll take it from there. So here I just said shorten this so all the most important information can fit on one page. There will be designs and images as well, so only quick bullet points are required. Let's see what happens. Now this is better. I will probably shorten it again, but for now I can work with this. And so let's do this. Customize templates based on the client sector project type, ensuring every document is relevant and cater as much as possible to the recipient. So let's do that. I'm also going to specify one other thing because I see it says English-only companies miss 80% of global purchasing power. That might be true, but I'm not necessarily targeting English-only companies. In fact, I'm in Asia right now, and a lot of my clients are in Europe. So I want to take that part out. So here it says, shorten the brochure even more, keeping the following in mind. The target market for this brochure is electronics companies located in Asia and Europe. Make the tone match the target industry. I noticed this working as an agency and in translation. Every single different industry has a very different way of communicating, of talking, if it's financial, if it's legal, if it's this, that, and the other. And so I kind of wanted to take that into account and then create a very professional sounding brochure. What I wrote here in the instructions was 3 variations of each section. This is going to be the first one, make it professional sounding, and because I want to balance tone, detail, and persuasiveness. So I'm going to make one that's very professional sounding. Let's see how that comes out. I just realized I'm still doing the deep research. I can switch back to the other one. Here we have, this is very professional sounding, and this is good information that I can use, obviously checking all this information, for veracity. But I can write something like this. I can say regenerate, but with a persuasive and eye-catching tone. That's it. This already I can tell sounds a lot better. Launch products up to 40% faster. It's a lot more persuasive, and it's listing the benefits rather than just listing all the professional details from before, which was very boring. And so that's how you can play around with it a bit. You can balance tone, detail, and persuasiveness. I can even do a different type of tone if I'm entering a different market and I want to make it sound more flowery or something like that. I won't waste too much time with that now. I just wanted to do one more thing. In addition to the fact that you can click on all of these to see the sources for everything that it documents, what you also can do is this. So I'm just going to write, generate an image to accompany this brochure, no words. I like to specify no words because otherwise it starts writing weird stuff. Okay, I'm going to leave this here just because it's funny, and you see how you should tweak stuff, right? So here what I can do is here, in fact, no, I don't want to regenerate. I want to start over from scratch. Let's do this. Generate an image to accompany this brochure. In fact, I'll change it. Generate a design to accompany this brochure, no words. Now this is something I could have in the background. I don't like that they did this shape. Unfortunately, they do that sometimes. So what you can do is you can just click regenerate and hope for the best. Oh, it did words anyway. So I actually like this a lot. So I might actually just take this and it's very simple here. I could just, delete this part and put Lugano translations and put my information there with a number because I actually don't mind this at all. I could put this as a cover and then kind of fade it as a background for the rest. So this isn't bad. Anyway, you get the picture. You can just play around with it and come up with different designs and see how that goes. And as you can see, you have the information here. In fact, I might even make it a bit shorter and kind of have a call to action at the end. You can tweak it as you like. And the last thing I say here is Once you start saying this out, you'll get a much better feel for what's working and what isn't. And then you should let the AI know what works and what doesn't. And Perplexity has different spaces. ChatGPT has what are called projects. It's the same thing. And you can save all this information in there. So later, whenever you're working on the brochure, you can keep building upon it and you can let it know what works. And then the final thing I say here is once you gain traction, my recommendation would be to approach a marketing professional and have them adapt what has been working in a more professional manner, obviously. My recommendation for these is to use profits for that. Once you start getting traction, you start getting some clients with whatever you're doing with AI, then you can get a professional and actually do a real professional job. Hopefully this gives you an idea. This is just one page out of my book and what I talk about. And hopefully this gives you, an applicable idea as to what you can do and an interesting way to just play around and use it, spend an hour or two and see if you can create a decent brochure for your business or for whatever you want to do. And again, let me know if you want me to tackle something specific that could help you out, and I'll see what I can do. And don't be surprised if you see some variation of all this stuff in my future brochures, because I think I might end up using it. If you want to know more about AI and how AI can help professionals and help people looking for jobs or maybe trying to help out with their job for marketing, sales, and for all stuff like that, then don't forget to follow this channel or you might not see it again. And that's what this channel does. So I'll talk to you next time.